Right, so Mixing Wednesdays, I'm back again after trying to promote this single, which I'm kind of done with just now, but I am back, and today I am going to be speaking about something that we never ever thought would happen. I actually think I have found an acoustical audio plugin that I like. Let's do it. So, quick overview of this plugin. Again, I've done my research, and I'm pretty sure it's basically a recreation of the Manley Massive Passive, which is one of the most renowned master EQs. But for me, using it in a mix, again, look at all the options that you've got, all these tonal options. Again, 20k all the way up to 1k, 200 to 7k. 230 to 10k, 630 to 26k. All of these frequencies I would be able to use in a mix, which I've found has been quite limiting with other plugins, i.e. the Gold, the Pink, and the Jade and stuff like that. And I just need to let you guys hear what this sounds like and the reason why I'm so kind of smitten with it. And the CPU isn't as bad as the rest of them, which is kind of why I've swayed toward this plugin as well. And the preamps actually do something. I found the other ones are really subtle. These ones are a lot less subtle, which I like because you get more tonal characteristics. And then I'm pretty sure the C1 and C2, I'm pretty sure that's meant to be the Manley VARI compressor, and two different variations of that. Right, let's just hear how this thing sounds, because I think it sounds awesome. And I like to hear what the compressor sounds like, so this is with it off. You hear how it gives it this kind of nice rounded out weight. Again, it's nice and subtle, but it just condenses the kick a little bit, adds a little bit more low end weight, which I really like. Kind of very similar to like what a Neve would do. And then again, I'll show you what the preamp's doing. I just like the grit that it gives it. So that was on the kick, and then let's compare that to my normal chain, which is a Lindell and a 9000J. Definitely some more low end girth in there. I'm kind of feeling that it's got this little bit of saturation. It's like it's working through the analog gear. I can hear the analog, and it just seems more rounded, more glued together. So yeah, automatically when I was doing this test, I was like, right, okay, number one kick, okay, that definitely wins. So that was the kick. Let's move on to the snare. Snare, again, really simple. Boosting a bit of 200. Giving it some 5k, giving it some 9k. Again, I've not got a shelf, and I like the fact that with these, again, you can choose to have a shelf, or just to have like a peak or like a bell curve, which I really like. And I'm adding in some 850 as well. The compressor, again, look how I used the B on the kick. I used the D, this second one on the snare. This, honestly, guys, see, I've never got a better snare sound out of a plugin. I've got slow attack, slow release, I'm using C2, which is one of the Manley ones, and I'm only like compressing like 1 to 2 dB max, and with everything engaged, it's superb. Again, I've got some 18k roll off, and then again I've got a high pass all the way up to 120. Just listen to this thing. This thing is, to me, what everybody has been going on about acoustical audio in terms of sound quality. So just listen to this. Really tight, really consistent, and that analog hit, it's just really punchy. And again, what did I do? So see the 200, I used the B, but I'll show you the difference to kind of what it adds. Again, listen to the low end girth that it adds to the snare using the B EQ. To me, what my chain's kind of been lacking in those kind of low mids, it just makes it sound a lot fatter, which makes it sound bigger in the mix. And I'll bring in the compressor in and out as well. So do you hear how it makes the snare really consistent? It's doing what I want a compressor to do, which I don't really want to take too much of the transient away, but I still want the hits to be consistent, and I still want it to kind of add a little bit more that kind of analog hit that I always think of. The C2 did a really good job, and again, as I said, all of these compressors have different sounds, and if it is true that's like an 11 to 76 style, and that one is like an LA2A, LA3A, then you've got two Manleys. Oh god. Then again, and again adding in the preamps as well, the options are limitless. So let's compare that to my normal chain. And to think that I've still got so many more options from the Magenta. And what have I got going on here? I'm just using so I've got a virtual channel in here, so I'm giving it a bit of SSL. I've got a distressor in there, and then on the Lindell, what have I got on here? Again, look, I've got the THD and I've got a bit of the drive from the preamp. I've got the THD all the way cranked. I'm using the Neve compressor as well. Again, the Lindell, again, as much as I love it, again, it is very limited in its frequency ranges, and I have more tonal options with the Magenta. So again, same sound, and basically the same sound. I think the Magenta just is slightly, when you listen to it in the mix, it does stand out more. But in my mix, the snare is just kind of, I don't know why, but it just kind of struggles to have that same presence and that same analog hit in the mix than this one does. So it's just really interesting, and I've heard that again, the way that the analog circuitry in terms of the digital emulations work is that's what it's meant to do. You're meant to use the Acoustica together, and again you'll kind of get this nice blend. So that's the snare, and I really like that. So if we were then to move to bass. So bass again, really simple. I'm using the B for the lows. Again, I'm using always. This is only time I seem to use the B, but it is superb for that kind of low end girth. So what have I got? 70, 850, 1.5k, 4.3k. I'm using the D again. I'm using this preamp again, and again I'm using the D2 this time, which is kind of more like the say like an 1176. And then I've got a fast attack, fast release, and a slow attack. And again, I don't know what this is. This clip thing. I don't know really what that is, but I just like the sound of it. And excitement to the bass, which I kind of think that's what the other Acoustica plugins were lacking for me. I always was able to get some really nice analog saturation into my chain, and I kind of felt that the other Acoustica plugins just were a bit kind of dry and a little bit stale, but I can hear it here. The lows are nice, and the compressor's doing it again. So let's try. I'll show you what the compressor's doing again. Again, I'm compressing it a little bit more this time. Adds this real character and like saturation to it, and again I'm giving it like close to sometimes 4 dB gain reduction, and you can't really hear it, but it's just kind of bringing that bass guitar just a little bit more consistent and giving it a little bit more growl. And again, I really like that. I do. So let's give it my chain. I've changed it a little bit than the last one, so I've gave it a bit of VMR. I've got the 9000J. I've got a bit of API 550A, and then this time around I've used the Opticomp. I used the Arturia Star Level the last time. I don't know. I just kind of feel that this one gives it a little bit more growl, like what the other compressor on the Arturia does. So it was kind of like, oh right, it made me think about. I always normally use the Arturia for bass. So I was like, well, if I didn't have the Acoustica, I'd probably use this now for my bass. So this is the sound of my chain on the bass. The Acoustica's got this kind of tubey characteristics to it. You can kind of hear the sound of the strings more, and it kind of makes this sound a little bit dull. And to think that I've got again a 9000J, look at that, I've got like 4.5k dimed, absolutely dimed in a bell. And again I'm adding in, so again quite look at that, I'm adding in like 9 dB at 1.5k, and it's still not got that kind of tube excitement, that kind of really clear, crystal clear, but kind of almost saturated mid-range that this bass has. And again, look, I'm diming 4.5k, and then what I'm doing on 1.5. Again, I'm hitting it quite hard as well, but my changes couldn't keep up with it. So let's move on to guitars. So on guitars, what have I done here? So I'm using the B again, I'm using it at 200 hertz, taking away 400, adding in a bit of 2.3, and then I'm adding in a bit of 9. And again, look, I've got that dined, almost like kind of what I would do on an SSL. And then I've got the A2 this time. I thought the A2 sounded really, really good. And again, these really do sound different, and that's what it's all about, tonal characteristics. And then I use D2 again on the guitar, and again I've just kind of got a medium attack and a medium release as well. It's what I kind of just thought sounded best. So this is the guitar. This has got this bounce to it, which is what I love about 9000J. I love the SSL 9000J on guitars for the bounce, and this is kind of incorporating that bounce. But very quickly, before I move on to vocals, I want to show you what this preamp's doing, right? So this is with the preamp off. On. Subtle, but to me I could definitely hear the bounce, and I could hear a little bit more excitement and a little bit more saturation, a little bit more like analog distortion kind of being brought into here. Again, it's almost like it's going through the transformers. So again, these preamps, this is what I think the preamps were intended to do, and with the other ones I'm just like, does nothing. So again, I love that. And let's compare it to the guitars of my chain, which, if I remember correctly, is 9000J. Yeah, I've got the Lindell in for the 25-4E Neve compressor, and then I've got some console stuff on as well, the VMR. So this is, compare them. The magenta is more open, it's got a little bit more bounce to it, and it sounds a little bit wider as well. So it's like what the Acoustica is doing is taking, which is why I love the magenta. It's almost like it was made for me. It's like this is the EQ that I was in the compressors that I were always meant to use. So it's almost like it takes my sound and just takes it and lifts it and makes it a little bit better. But yeah, I definitely think the guitars are more open, a little bit more bounce to them, and I think the SSL 9000J is just maybe a bit grating to your ears after a bit of time, where the Acoustica is just a little bit softer. I think maybe softer is the right word. It kind of softens it up. Still got that kind of you can hear the kind of saturation, and the bounce softens it, widens it a little bit, so it allows it to kind of sit better in the mix without being a little bit too grating on your ears over time. Okay, so that was the guitars, and then let's move on to the big one, which is the vocals. Again, I did love the Jade vocals. I did say that I would probably buy the Jade for the vocals. Now, is the Acoustica Magenta going to sound better than my Faithful? And this is a Faithful chain. Again, I do add normally more. Again, I've got vitalizers and stuff like that in. But what's the sound going to be like? So let's see what we've got going on. So we've got some 470 getting taken away. I've got 190 being added. I've got 5k, and I've got a 13k shelf this time, and then I'm using A2 for the preamp, and then I have got C2 in, so it's the Manley. Again, a lot of people, this is what I find interesting, would say, oh no, you should definitely use D1 and D2. I just found C2 sounded better for me, to be honest, and this is what I like about it. So let's hear what this sounds like on the vocal. And again, I was very surprised at this. Just listen to the top end there especially.
I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you.
Again, see how that compressor just tames the vocal, brings it a little bit more into the mix, and again it keeps the high end. But again, even with this off, it didn't sound terrible, which was interesting. So let's hear it compared to what I would have on my chain. And what have I got on this? So I've got the VMR, I've got the, so again I've got a 70 U73 preamp, I've got U73B, U73, yeah, I've got that in. So I've got that in as my compressor and the preamp. I've got the Arturia star level, that's working as my LE2A kind of style. Right, so thanks for that, Arturia. You crashed my entire session. So yes, guys, there are other plugin manufacturers that do have great sims, but are a nightmare for CPU usage. That's twice that's happened to me trying to open this. So I have the star level, I have Butch Vig vocals, and I have the mag, which is actually a little bit of a cheat because that doesn't have a 40k airband like the Jade. But listen, right? Just listen to my vocal chain and actually listen to the top end.
I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be of a lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a hero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you.
Top end is pretty much the exact same, and basically the vocals are very much identical. I just think that the magenta is a little bit more cleaner, which I think does help a mix because you don't normally want your vocals to be too dirty. So let's do a little interesting test, and let's see the two of them compared together. So my chain versus the Acustica, and let's hear what the difference is. So we'll start differently. We'll do my chain first, then we'll add in the Acustica.
I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you. I can be your undercover lover. I can be whatever gets you through. I can be a superhero, deflecting all the things that they may say to you.
Only thing I would say is I think that my chain and the bass, the low end's better. I just think that it's just got a little bit kind of bit more sub in there, but you could probably boost the Acustica, and you could probably maybe add in a little bit more just to kind of make it a little bit subby. But I kind of found that if you cranked the B EQ a little bit too much, it kind of sounded a little bit muddy. So apart from that, I think the two of them are very, very, very similar. The snare, that's a complete difference. The vocal sounds better. The guitar again sounds better. The bass is again, it's got this really nice silky smooth quality, and I just think it just maybe needs a bit more aggression, and it just needs a little bit more sub. So yes, I'm very happy. So let's go back to the studio and let's wrap this video up, okay? So yes, I have found an Acustica audio plugin that I genuinely love the sound of this plugin. I think it is my sound, and it does sound better than my current mixing chain, which I never thought would happen, but there you go. This is why we do these things. A lot of people have mentioned that the good thing about Acustica plugins is when you chain them all together in a mix, it acts more like analog summon, and it all sounds kind of really nice together. So I do think that for the very first time, I think I heard the analog qualities, and it's maybe just the massive passive that I love, but Acoustica's done a very good job at emulating it. So I do love everything about it. I love the EQs, I love the compressors, and I love the preamps as well. They all do something different, which is what I want in one plugin. And I always do honest reviews. I do. I'm an honest guy. I kind of gave them a hard time about the other plugins, but I love this plugin, so I'm fair, and I'm going to do a fair review and say, you know what, yes, I would put this plugin on a pedestal. For me, it was fantastic. So I'll end this video to say, yes, Acustica, thank you very much for making the Magenta, and when I do finally get it, whenever that is, I can't wait to use it. And again, I'll put it in a mix, and you will find it hopefully on a mix, because I am doing a debut album this year. It'll be done by 2021. My first single has been out, and you know what, I would love to use the Magenta on my next following single, because I will be doing a single every single month. So if you've liked this, please like and subscribe to Mix of Wednesdays. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yes, Acustica, if you are watching, just give me the Magenta, right? I will still pay for it, but I'm not paying £90, okay? I am tight, right? So yes, Acustica, if you're watching, I will use it on my mixes, just it has to be at the right price. So, Mix of Wednesdays, thanks for watching, guys. Comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.